I'm back. Sorry, it's been a little while. I was going to be back about 55 minutes ago, but life happened. But now I'm back to finish 2 more lessons for today. So let me get my Instagram people up and running. And once I see that we're good, go ahead and let me know what age your baby is and whether things are going well, so-so, or not so well with EC. And good to be back. Hey. All right, so we're going to finish up with these 2 other topics, wet pants and potty milestones. You guys ready? Okay, let's do this. Now, first things first, I got to check my microphone. Hold on one second. Make sure I've got the right one going on. Yes, okay, good. Okay, I am going to use this on my podcast, so in case you're hopping on and off, don't worry, you'll be able to watch this then or listen to this then. It's always on YouTube. It's always on Instagram TV. It's always on anywhere you can get podcasts. Okay, so let me know how old your baby is, whether EC is going well, so-so, or not so well. And also a quick reminder, in just about a month, we're going to have our summer training challenge. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's start off with wet pants. So today I want to talk to you about wet pants. Is it okay to have wet pants during EC or potty training, or is it not okay? Think about it for a second. What do you think? I have a guess for you. I have a guess that most of you are probably going to get this incorrect. We probably think it's not okay to have wet pants. But today I'm going to debunk that myth. It's actually quite all right in some situations to have wet pants. Now, within Montessori, if you're in a traditional Montessori school, your child in the 12 to 18 month class will be put immediately into cotton pants. And one of our Go Diaper Free certified coaches told me years ago that when they're run traditionally, as Maria Montessori intended for them to, children are taken out of diapers in that class, that specific age range, because it's a sensitive period for potty learning. Now, they don't count how many wets they have in a day. They don't hold it against the child. They don't count as the teacher's failing or the child's failing or any of that, or potty training is going terribly. It is literally all a learning experience. So the number of wet pants does not matter in a Montessori classroom. It's the fact that learning is taking place. Now, what kind of learning might you ask? Physiologically, they're feeling the instant feedback of when I feel this sensation in my belly and I release, my pants get wet. It's cause and effect. It's very basic. And also because they're doing this in a classroom setting, you've got that social pressure of, I don't really want to be wet around others, but if I'm wearing a diaper, I don't mind being wet and nobody really knows it's happening. But in cotton pants, it is happening out in the open. So that's a little example from Montessori, which our last show was all about. Now, since wet pants in my book are okay most of the time, and I'll tell you when they're not okay. When they're not okay is when you've gone through the whole potty training process and you've got wet pants every day. That means we need to do the potty training process over again. That has nothing to do with EC. But during EC, we definitely want to use wet pants as an opportunity. It's not do or die. Does everybody get that? It's not make or break. EC does not have to be perfect. If you're trying to make it perfect, please stop. It will not work. So since I'm okay with wet pants, but I also see it as a sign that something might need to change, and we covered that a couple of episodes ago when we talked about how to handle changes as your baby develops. And one thing is changing the backup so you have less wets. What we want to do is to be prepared during this specific couple week or couple month learning process during EC, which is 0 to 18 month babies. We want to be prepared with dry changes of clothes. So I have right here a wet dry bag and some backups. So a wet dry bag, I sell these at tinyandies.com, it has a one pocket for all of your wets when you're on the go and one pocket for all of the dries. It's made out of PUL, for those of you who are not watching this, which is a waterproof material. So you basically carry a bunch of extra backups. So right here, I've got a bunch of training pants. You would put in several of these in the dry pocket, which is a smaller pocket, and then leave the wet pocket open. So when you have a wet on an outing, it's not a huge deal. Learning is taking place. You're learning. Your child's learning. It's all good. Relax. But we want to be prepared so that we can be relaxed. Does that make sense? At home, we want to set up a station wherever you keep your potty. And in my book, you can keep the potty wherever you want to, whatever's working for you. But we want to set up a station near that potty station, as part of that potty station even, that has a long full-length mirror that has a little stool that your child can sit on, and you can help them learn how to dress and undress when there is a wet pants situation. That's what they do in those Montessori classrooms. They use them as a learning experience. So the child will pull the wet pants halfway down, sit on the stool, push them the rest of the way. And really, we want to say push them down, and then push them the rest of the way after you're seated. And then we go on the potty, because just because you're wet doesn't mean there might not be more. So let's see, there might even be poop because you let a little pee out because you need to poop. We would allow them a potty-tunity, an opportunity to go potty. And then we would go ahead and have them help to redress. So this station that makes changes easy would have a basket of your dry backups, a little basket for the wets, or a wet dry bag hanging from a doorknob or something. And you would have them grab some dry ones, help them put them on their feet. This is where the Learn undies and the Learn trainers really help, because they've got different colored leg holes. Let me grab some of those. If you don't have these, get some just for this purpose. They would put them down on the ground so Bear's looking at them. One hole in the blue, one hole in the gray. Grab the orange handles and pull them up to their knees, because again, they're sitting on a stool. Then have them stand up holding onto you, or holding, some people will install a bar vertically next to the potty station so they can pull themselves up. And then have them pull the rest of the way up. You'll probably have to assist on the rear, okay? So this is a way that we can use wet pants as a learning opportunity of how we change into dry pants, because we want our children to experience dry pants most of the time. We want to make this a learning experience in multiple ways. We don't want to overtalk it, but we want to say, hey, you're wet. Let's go. Take those off and help them do what they can for themselves for the most part. Look at my last episode on Montessori. You'll understand that we're assisting them. We're not doing it for them. And since we're dealing with less than 18-month-olds, we're not going to have that no struggle. We're not going to have that same rebellion that we'll have with a 2 or 3-year-old. So definitely put in the investment of time now, and then you won't have to do it later. So learning experience, this is what happened. Oh, let's try it. Let's see if there's any more. Have them get on the potty and assist them, and then wiping all that stuff, and then have them put them onto their knees, stand up, pull the rest of the way up, and you assist. Okay? And oftentimes, if you have them put your hand in the front and the back, they can pull it better than if they do it on the sides. It just really depends on the age. And I just want to remind you that a process is occurring. You will do better if you are relaxed during this process and just trust it, or you trust me, or whatever you want to do. Trust yourself. Trust in this process. This is part of learning. Your baby is smarter than you will ever know. And I know those of you who do EC already think that your babies are smart and that all babies are smart, but it'll blow your mind if you really knew what was going on in there. When things look like they're going nonlinear and awry, they're actually reestablishing homeostasis. There's learning happening. There's a process happening. Trust in that. Wet pants are okay unless you've already finished EC and you've had dry pants for months and months, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of wets, or you've potty trained and you get a bunch of wets after successful potty training. Then we have an issue and want to troubleshoot that. In my tiny potty training book, you can go to the end about various types of accidents. If you're potty training, if you're doing EC, and you're having a bunch of accidents, and you have my book, go on my book owners forum, let my coaches help you out. Usually, if you go back a couple episodes of my podcast to 197, you want to do a couple of changes like location potty or backup if these accidents are out of nowhere. But again, we're just doing day-to-day EC, and we've got misses as just a part of the regular learning process. You're A-okay, all right? Hopefully this was helpful for you. All right, now I'm going to record the next one, you guys. This will be our last lesson for the day. Please let me know how your baby's doing. Thumbs up, thumb sideways, thumb down. I don't think there is a thumb sideways. You might have to do the sideways pointing, or thumbs down if EC is kind of going crazy. You can always DM me if you need any help with anything at all. We will lead you to the right resource. I have plenty of them, including almost at this 200th podcast episode soon. So definitely check that out. Now let's talk about the last lesson for today. Ready? All right, let me just adjust this a little bit. And these will be repurposed on my podcast and my YouTube and on my Instagram Live, so definitely check them out there if you've missed some of this. All right, let's talk about potty milestones. When will what happen? Is that grammatically correct? I don't know. I want to go through a couple of things that happen for typically most, if not all, babies who are being EC'd from birth to 18 months. Doesn't matter when you start, that typically these milestones go hand in hand with developmental things that are going on. You can find out more about all of this in my programs that are for different age ranges. Just go to godiaperfree.com/store and you will click on programs and you will see that there's one for newborns, one for mobile babies, and one for young toddlers. This is in addition to my book. It's sort of a deep dive into that age and stage only. So if you need blinders and you need to only focus on where you're at right now and that helps you, then definitely get one of the programs. Get with the program. Yeah. All right. So there is a roadmap in that covers all these milestones, just like a couple episodes ago when we did How Often Will My Baby Pee? That's episode 198. You're going to see some similarities there. But right now we're just focusing only on milestones. When should I expect which milestone regarding pottying to happen with elimination communication? Okay, at 6 months, most babies have or will be starting solids. This is pretty much the average normal age that people start their babies on solid foods. The milestone here is that the poop gets hard and it gets regular. And what we love about this is that it's more predictable, unless you have a stealth pooper, in which case see my episode on stealth pooping. But most of you are going to have a lot more regularity come solid foods, and that is something to celebrate. And it's definitely a potty milestone because the poop changes. It's also a little bit different to dispose of it, easier or more difficult, but you're definitely going to have to change something in your practice. The next milestone that happens with EC is at 8 months. Oftentimes, if you've been signing to your baby from birth or even just started at 7 months, 6 months, babies will typically start to sign back around 8 months, sometimes sooner, sometimes later. That's exciting because they're able to not only look at you and grunt, or to start crying and look at you and wait, or to start bearing down and go, I really need some help here. That they could start to actually directly communicate with you with the tea, shaking, hey, I need to go potty, or whatever sign you taught them to go. But signing usually starts around 8 months average. Next milestone, between 9 and 10 months old, they may begin to try to mount their mini potty on their own, which is exciting and also difficult. Because if they're doing this on their own, they're going to want to do it a million times until they get it and they master it. And if you have a 9 to 10-month-old or a 12-month-old or 14, you know what I'm talking about, right? They're going to do the same exact thing 50 million times until they get it. So this could result on not staying seated on the potty, which means you might need to change the receptacle location to the big toilet on a toilet seat reducer just for a little while, and then give ample time to practice mounting and dismounting the potty during non-potty times. So this is exciting. For this age, I definitely recommend the potty that I have at tinyundies.com because it's way shorter than a regular potty. A regular mini potty is way higher, and it's going to discourage your child instead of encourage your child. All right, so the next milestone is at 12 months. A lot of babies will start to grab their crotch, their diaper area, their front side, their back side, their bottoms as a signal. It could be a sign, sure, and there's differences between signs and signals, but why split hairs? You're going to know that they need to go because they're going to grab at their crotch, their diaper, their butt, their front, whatever. That's exciting because, again, more information with more communication, more opportunities for success, right? The next milestone is at 12 months. Around then, they'll probably start to mimic wiping. They've seen you do it for their whole lives. If you've let them in the bathroom when you go to the bathroom, maybe you've been giving them a piece of paper to practice. But at this age, they're going to be really super duper interested in blotting with the toilet paper when they're finished. And that's really how you start to teach wiping. Give them a little piece of toilet paper. I would never leave the roll on for a 12-month-old because they're just going to unroll the whole thing. It's really fun. But maybe you have a little Kleenex box with just a couple of pieces of toilet paper in it. Have them grab some of that, dab on the front of their girl, and then the back second, and drop it in. If it's a boy, they don't need to dab their peenie, but they can dab their butts. They can pretend. So they're going to start mimicking around 12 months. Between 12 and 13 months, they start to dump the mini potty with assistance and really want to do that. One of the coolest things ever, one time it rained at my house. The potty was outside on the porch, filled with water. My daughter brought it over and dumped it over the edge. She was about this age. And I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have to practice with pee. We can practice with water. So you can fill up your mini potty outside with water, have them dump it into a giant bucket or something like that, and they can practice. But also when they filled up the mini potty, say it's in your living room, have them pick it up and you just assist. You say, all right, cool, go for it. And you're basically spotting them like you're a rock climbing partner and your partner is bouldering and you're there just in case. You're there just in case the pee falls on the ground. So we want to spot with assistance. At 15 months, there are clothing manipulation experiments like having 3 shirts on or having half a pant on or pulling off and on various articles of clothing at random times that probably aren't socially acceptable. So we want to definitely support clothing manipulation experiments by assisting in any way possible, but also getting the Learn Undies or the Learn trainers that I sell at tinyundies.com will help. Once they learn how to do those, they actually can transition from just learning how to use those undies to any article of pant clothing and be able to pull those on and off because the underwear teaches them how to do that. Okay, also around 15 months, hiding behind the couch is a good signal for I need to poop. And that is something those of us who have ever done potty training would know. Oh, he always hides behind the couch and poops. Well, that's because socially he doesn't want to do it in front of anybody else. So we take that as another wonderful additional signal that we can use or sign that we need to take them to the potty. And some people will put a mini potty behind the couch so that it's there and then just help them take their clothes off, let them poop behind the couch in the mini potty. Totally up to you. Got 2 more for you. Another milestone is at 18 months. They have slightly better wiping. If you've been working with them and training with them since they were 1 on wiping, they can do it slightly better. I would never expect independent wiping until maybe 2 or 3 years old, although I've seen anomalies of this. It's just really more of a fine motor skill that just develops a little bit later, not as important. Drip dry, fine. Usually poop comes out pretty clean at this age if they're in a deep squat, which they are in my mini potty. So no need to wipe a ton of a mess. So physiologically, is there a need to wipe thoroughly at those young ages? Not so much. So that kind of goes with physiological development as well. Just expectations wise, at 18 months, they're going to get a little better at it. Keep training. 2 to 3 years old, they're going to start going on their own accord. This could start as early as 18 months. So it could start as early as 13 months. I've had one child, 15 months, telling me every single time they need to go. But usually around 2, they're doing this. Independent wiping and also changing their own clothing. There are differences between boys and girls, believe it or not. I have 3 boys, 2 girls. I've helped hundreds of thousands of other families. Boys are more physical and girls are a little bit more aware of their cleanliness. And again, I've seen anomalies in this, but if you're chuckling while listening to this, then you know what I mean. So that's basically about it for potty milestones, just some things that you can expect at different ages. And hopefully this has taught you something new today and that you can understand what's coming. Again, all the milestones are detailed in depth on this roadmap that comes with each of my 3 in-depth programs. And you can see visually where all these things happen, corresponding with when to use which potty, which backup, how often are they going to pee or poop, and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much. All right, now I've got all of the lessons for today done. I'm 15 minutes late to a meeting. I gotta go. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new today. And I have oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. For those of you listening on Instagram, I have, let me count, like 35 reels that I want to make very soon. And I'm going to start posting them. And I hope that you love them because I'm back from vacation and I'm excited about this. So definitely stay tuned and I will be in your feed soon here on YouTube. I've got a lot of plans for videos as well. And yay, the Frey Life, 6 months old tomorrow. Hooray. And I think that's about everybody. Good to see you guys. And these will be posted again soon as 5 different episodes on my podcast and on my YouTube and also on IGTV. So stay tuned. Thanks guys so much. I'll see you next time.